What if I told you that the most impossible thing ever caught on camera happened 2,000 years ago? And it terrified the people who witnessed it more than any horror movie ever could. Today, we are breaking down the moment Jesus literally broke the laws of physics and why what happened next will change how you see every impossible situation in your life. But here's the part that will blow your mind. This wasn't just about walking on water. This was about a test so intense that it almost broke the faith of Jesus' closest followers. One of them tried to copy what Jesus did and nearly died trying. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why this miracle is actually the key to overcoming every fear you've ever had. Picture this, it's 3 a.m. You're in the middle of a massive lake. During the worst storm of the year. Waves are crashing over your boat. You're fighting for your life. And you've been rowing for 9 hours straight. Your hands are bleeding. Your muscles are screaming. And you're starting to think you might not make it to shore. Then you see something in the distance that makes your blood run cold. A figure walking toward you. On top of the water. Your first thought isn't it's Jesus. Your first thought is we're about to die. And now we are seeing ghosts. But here's what really happened that night. And why it's the most terrifying and beautiful story you'll ever hear. To understand this miracle, we need to go back a few hours. Jesus had just performed one of his most famous miracles, feeding 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. The crowd was going absolutely crazy. But here's what most people don't know. That crowd wasn't just impressed. They were ready to make Jesus their king by force. We are talking about a political revolution. An uprising that would have changed the course of history. Jesus sees what's happening and makes a brilliant strategic move. He tells his disciples, get in the boat and go to the other side of the lake. I'll catch up with you later. The disciples are confused. What do you mean you'll catch up? We are taking the only boat. But Jesus is already walking away, heading up the mountain to pray. The disciples have no choice but to get in the boat and start rowing across the Sea of Galilee. Little do they know, they are about to face the most terrifying night of their lives. And Jesus, he's about to do something that will haunt their dreams and change their faith forever. The Sea of Galilee is notorious for sudden, violent storms. It's surrounded by mountains. And when the wind funnels through those valleys, it creates waves that can flip a boat in seconds. At first, everything seems fine. The disciples are rowing steadily, probably talking about the miracle they just witnessed. But then the wind picks up. The waves start getting bigger. The boat starts rocking harder. What started as a routine trip across the lake quickly becomes a fight for survival. These aren't amateur fishermen. Most of these guys have been working on this lake their entire lives. Peter, Andrew, James, and John are professional fishermen who've weathered countless storms. But this storm is different. This storm is trying to kill them. Matthew 14 verse 24 says, they were buffeted by the waves because the wind was against them. The Greek word for buffeted means tortured or tormented. These waves weren't just splashing over the boat, they were trying to destroy it. For 9 hours, they fight against the storm. 9 hours of rowing against wind and waves. Their hands are raw and bleeding. Their backs are screaming in pain. They are exhausted, terrified, and starting to lose hope. And then at 3 a.m. they see something that changes everything. Mark 6 verse 48 says Jesus came to them walking the lake. But the Greek word used here doesn't just mean walking. It means walking around. Or strolling. Jesus wasn't struggling against the waves. He wasn't fighting the storm. He was casually walking on water like it was solid ground. The disciples see this figure approaching through the storm. And their first reaction isn't relief, it's pure terror. Matthew 14 verse 26 says, when the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were terrified. It's a ghost, they said. And cried out in fear. Think about that. These men have been following Jesus for months. They've seen him heal the sick, cast out demons, and feed thousands with a few loaves of bread. But seeing him walk on water, that's when they think he's a ghost. What they are witnessing should be impossible. Water can't support human weight. You can't walk on liquid. The laws of physics that govern our entire universe are being casually ignored by a man strolling across a lake in the middle of a storm. But here's the detail that gives me chills every time. Mark 6 verse 48 says Jesus was about to pass by them. He wasn't heading straight for the boat. He was walking past them like he was taking an evening stroll. Why? Because he wanted to see what they would do. Would they call out to him? Would they recognize him? Would they have faith, or would they be paralyzed by fear? Jesus hears their terrified cries and immediately calls out, "Take courage. It is I, don't be afraid." 3 simple phrases that change everything. Take courage. You have the strength to handle this. It is I. The Greek phrase, ego eimi, is the same phrase God used when Moses asked his name. Jesus is claiming to be God. Don't be afraid. Fear is the enemy of faith, but Peter, impulsive, passionate Peter, hears Jesus' voice and makes the most audacious request in human history, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come to you on the water." Think about what Peter just asked. He's saying, "Jesus, if you can walk on water, let me do it too." This isn't just faith, this is radical, dangerous, impossible faith. Jesus gives him one word, "Come." That's it. No explanation. No instruction manual. No safety gear. Just come. Peter steps out of the boat. His foot touches the water, and it holds. He takes another step. Then another. Peter is walking on water. He's doing the impossible, defying gravity, breaking the laws of physics with every step. For a few incredible moments, 2 men are walking on water in the middle of a raging storm. It's the most supernatural moment in human history. Here's what I want you to do right now. Think about the biggest storm in your life. The thing that's been keeping you up at night. The situation that seems impossible. The problem that's been tormenting you for months or maybe years. Now imagine Jesus walking toward you on that storm. Not around it. Not after it. Oh, in it. He's taking the very thing that's trying to destroy you and using it as his highway to reach you. You have the same choice Peter had. You can stay in the boat of safety and watch Jesus walk past. Or you can step out and walk on water. You can focus on the storm and sink. Or you can focus on Jesus and do the impossible. Here's what I can guarantee: if you step out, you might sink. But if you don't step out, you'll definitely stay ordinary. Peter sank, but he also walked on water. The other disciples stayed safe, but they missed the miracle. This story isn't just about Jesus walking on water. It's about you walking on whatever's impossible in your life. It's about discovering that the very thing that's trying to destroy you can become the platform for your greatest miracle. So here's my challenge for you. Stop focusing on the storm and start focusing on the Savior. Stop looking at what's impossible and start looking at the God who specializes in impossible situations. Your water walking moment is waiting. Your miracle is one step of faith away. The question isn't whether Jesus can walk on water, he already proved that. The question is whether you're brave enough to step out of the boat. If this video gave you the courage to step out of your boat, smash that subscribe button, because next week we are breaking down the miracle that made Jesus' enemies so angry they tried to kill him on the spot. And trust me, what you're about to learn about Jesus healing on the Sabbath will show you why breakthrough always comes with a price. The storm is real, but the Savior is stronger. The water is deep, but your faith can be deeper. Get out of the boat. Your miracle is waiting. See you in the next one.